Hi, this is Sherry Summers. Welcome to Everyday Pronunciation. Today, let's practice the sentence, they've been married for 10 years now. Again, they've been married for 10 years now. What I really wanted to point out in this lesson is particularly this word, married. Married. Now, I say marry. I use kind of this E sound in there, marry. And it rhymes exactly with my name, which is Sherry. You can hear that E in there. So you look at the word marry and you say, oh, well, that's an A. How come it sounds like an E? Well, it's because it's a regional variation. There's another variation of this word that is marry. So some people say marry, some people say marry. So who says what? Well, you can say anything you want. It really doesn't matter which one you choose. But people on the West Coast tend to say Mary, like my name, and I live on the West Coast, so I say Mary. People on the East Coast tend to say Mary, the second one, and everybody in the middle, it depends on the region. You could actually ask a native speaker around you, do you say Mary or marry, and see what they say. They'll let you know what they say. So in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. I'm probably going to just say marry because that's what I always say. And by the way, Mary, the woman's name, Mary, same situation. Some people say Mary, some people say marry. And there's a version of Sherry, which is Shari. If you live on the East Coast, you would probably always say Sherry, and then my name would be Sherry. But on the West Coast, they would sound the same. They would both sound like Sherry. So I just wanted to point that out so you would be aware of what was going on there. And let's go ahead and look at the rest of the sentence. Let's start in the beginning and start with they've. They've. Now, I notice a lot of people try to separate those sounds and say they have. If it's written as they've, like you see here, don't do that. Put the V at the end. Don't make a new word. It's a contraction. It needs to be pronounced as they've. They've. It rhymes with, let's say, Dave. The guy's name Dave. So put a TH there instead and you have they've. They've. All right, so they've been married. Now, let's look at Ben. Ben is usually not stressed very much. There are a few ways we could do this. We could say Ben. Some people say bin with a short I. If you're in Canada, you might say bean, which for me sounds a lot like a bean. And some people say bun, like a schwa in the middle. So it's kind of a weird word in that way, and you could choose anything you want. Now, generally, I try to push you to use the schwa, so let's do that. Let's say bun, bun. So we have they've been married or married. Married, there's a little baby E on the end of marry. We'll put the D sound in there because it's a past participle. They've been married. They've been married. They've been married. And for is usually reduced, so we'll mark this as fur. They've been married for. They've been married for a nice big 10. 10's a good big word. Years. Years. This is what often surprises people. Years. 10 years. Years is a little bit stronger than 10. Now. Now. Okay. So, they've been married for 10 years now. They've been married. They've been married. Mare gets a lot more length and strength. They've been married for 10 years now. Years. Married is probably the strongest word, and years is the second one. So let's try it together a few times. Let's take it slow and speed it up. They've been married for 10 years now. They've been married for 10 years now. They've been married for 10 years now. Let's go faster. They've been married for 10 years now. They've been married for 10 years now. How long have they been married? They've been married for 10 years now. Wow, I can't believe it. They've been married for 10 years now. Okay, please try it a lot of times today. You might want to put in some different numbers and see how that feels. If you know somebody who's been married for 20 years, say they've been married for 20 years now, or I've been married for 15 years now. So you could change it up a bit. But try it a number of times. Get to where it flows off your tongue and be aware of the word marry. It's kind of an interesting thing to know. And by the way, there are other words that do this, but we'll talk about that another time. Enjoy your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.